Whenever I go to the cemetery in the Nawab of Firdoos, mark it to recite Fatiha at the grave of my parents and younger brother Zubair. The grave of public figure Alauddin is nearby and no flowers are placed on it. In the corner of the cemetery is the grave of Wahid Murad, and his residence was also next to this cemetery. I remember when I attended his funeral. It was a huge funeral procession in which his body was wrapped in khaki. He was the biggest superstar of the Pakistani film world, with whom the public, and especially the younger generation, fell in love. Perhaps today's Shah Rukh Khan could not help but be captivated by his adoration. His hairstyle took on the form of a fashion after Dilip Kumar. Last year, I met a Pakistani in Holland who, in addition to his hairstyle, had adopted Wahid Murad's style to such an extent that when he left Pakistan for Europe, Wahid Murad reigned supreme here. His clothes testified to his taste and beauty, and the way he would film a song in a carefree manner. No other hero had such charming styles. Slowly, the darkness of obscurity came and he started to walk back into the scene. And he could not bear this pain. It is heard that some film was being shot in Mariangara, and those days, the actor Nadeem, who looked like Dilip Kumar, who gained fame from Chikori, was making a name for himself in the eyes of the public. Nadeem and Wahid Murad were chatting after finishing the shooting. Wahid Murad in this film, it was not Nadeem who was the hero. The girls of a college in Lahore were all laughing at the sight of them. Wahid Murad thought that they were making a fuss after seeing him, but they all gathered around Nadeem. Some of them took a selfie with Wahid Murad, but Nadeem was the center of most of their love. It is said that Wahid was extremely saddened. Then during an accident, her face got bruises and it was no longer the face for which millions of people had died. This facial deformity led to her taking a lot of rest and medication, and then she died. It was only the betrayal of fame that killed her. There was a time when Mazhar Shah appeared as a villain in Punjabi films, and the thunder of his personality was such that even the hero of the film became useless in front of him. He was the first person who popularized a slogan in Punjabi films, Ayer Badhak. Later, Sultan Rahi adopted his style and rose to fame. It often happened that he would perform in this cinema hall with his friends. We used to go wherever one of his films was being shown. During the intermission, he would get up from his seat, put his hand over his mouth, and make a loud noise. The spectators sitting in the hall would come up to him and start making noises themselves. He would start speaking his words in front of them like a king. The people would start to stare at him. Then after the law of power, the greatness of the king was replaced by another villain. The man whose Punjabi accent and Sindhi accent captivated people, Mazhar Shah, who was sitting anonymously on a pillar outside a house in Gawal Mandi, became a hero and very few people knew him. Fame had taken him away. Those days, he went to a cinema hall alone, and during the intermission, he got up from his seat and started laughing. The people sitting in the hall saw that an old man was laughing, in a loud voice for no reason, so they thought that he was a madman who was causing trouble. Mazhar Shah also lived for a long time after that and died. At the end of a literary festival in Islamabad, some people are taking me home, taking pictures and expressing their love. In those days, I was the first host of Pakistan Television's morning broadcasts, and for 8 years, every household in Pakistan would wake up with the words, Assalamu alaikum Pakistan. Love Pakistan, all of Pakistan. When I finished with these praises, Mumtaz Mufti Mir came closer and started saying in a very serious tone, Tarsh! Touch the media. Its fame will be eaten by you. You have the potential to become a great writer, but the media's charm will destroy your potential. I will not talk to you until you stop caring about this fame. I suggested to Mufti Sahib that, see, the media is my livelihood, and I must say that I have never taken its fame seriously. No, Leah and Adab are my first loves, but they had no effect on me. After that, whenever I met Mumtaz Mufti, he would frown at me with an angry expression and avoid me. He wrote me a letter about 6 months before his death, the full contents of which are not suitable to be published, but he admitted that his fears were unfounded, and that he had kept his pride of fame at bay, and had proved that literature was his first priority. There are very few people who have such a source of tolerance and patience from Allah Almighty, that they do not complain even when fame disappears and live a normal life. A shining example of this was the film star Rajini. Her beauty and enchanting eyes were famous all over India, and she was called by the nickname of Ahu Chasham. She made the biggest names of her time. He worked with heroes, and Segal was also among them. It is said that most actors were afraid to work with him in films only, because if Regini was in the film, then he would not even look at the other actors. Everyone would look at Regini's eyes. He spent the last days of his life in an ordinary colony, a few steps away from his home. In the room, the cement of the room stood out, cracks in the floor, a worn bed and a bottle of mineral water instead of a flask with tap water at the head. No loved one, no one to comfort, completely alone, and despite that, there was that dominance and power in her voice and that elegance and sophistication in her lips and accent. When she played the role of Queen India, there was no complaint on her lips, no doubt about her condition. Happy and sad, there are many such stories that will be told. But what can a person do if one day, millions of people come to see a glimpse of him, and then one day, no one even raises an eye to see his side? In the end, it is the soil of the grave that equalizes everything by burying it. Maharaja Ranjit Singh's granddaughter, Maharaja Dilip Singh's daughter, Princess Bombay Sadar Land, is buried in the Christian cemetery of Jail Road in Lahore. There is a Persian verse on the tombstone that says that the soil of the grave does not know whether a rooster sleeps in it or a donkey sleeps. It equalizes everything. In the name of Allah,